So in this example, I have an aOffice document which takes in the region of 24 minutes to run and refresh. However, the very same document with the same prompts, bringing back the same data, subsequently takes 20 seconds to refresh. So 20 seconds is what we want. Let's try and find out where this 24 minutes is coming from. So in the application logs, which you'll see are a different format to the GLF files I might expect from the other SAP BI4 toolset. That unfortunately means I can't use my GLF viewer, so I can't make use of the color coding and the indentations, etc. However, I can still use a standard text editor. I'm using Ultra Edit here. Notepad++ would work. Even just plain old Notepad would work for this. I'm looking for only what happens after I click the OK button, after I have satisfied the prompts. So I look for my prompts in the trace files and I can see them all here. I'm not really interested in things which happen before that. Let's scroll down to here and I can see all my prompts being filled in and satisfied here. Now the reason I don't really care about what happens before that is that this is a client application, which means that this is running on the client side on a client laptop. Now while I carried out this workflow, I have no control over the resources available in any other end user's laptop. I have no control over what they're doing at the time, how many windows they have open, what other applications they're running, and any other contention for resources. These things are outside of my control. How long it takes the user to fill in the prompts, even, is something that I can't influence. So I'm ignoring almost everything prior to the prompts. I've left them in as a reference point. Here's my start. Here's after I've filled in the prompts and clicked OK. After which time the application will hit the data source and go and get me some data. Now I can see quite quickly a huge number here, which is measured in seconds. So I see 1364 seconds here. It's nearly 23 minutes right there. And there doesn't seem to be much else happening between the start and the return, which suggests that whatever is happening, perhaps the trace files can't record it because it's not happening within the application. Perhaps it's happening outside of the application. If I compare this to a subsequent workflow, for convenience I've left the same start in, and you can see my prompts here again being filled in. After my prompts I click OK and here's the start of my workflow. And again, exactly the same lines, except this time 3 seconds compared to nearly 23 minutes here. So when I click OK, aOffice goes and hits the data source. So we're using BW. Let's have a look at the data source and see what happens. I'm using BIP tools here, which is part of ST13. This is the BW statistics, and it captures everything that BW sees for my workflow. So it's kind of adding to the application trace files, which I can see in aOffice. If I scroll down here, I'm looking for anything like a large number in here. And this is the standard methodology. I'm just looking for big numbers and I start to drill into the biggest numbers I find. This one here at 52 seconds is quite a big number, but don't forget I'm excluding everything prior to the prompt. That's something that I'm not really interested in. I'm only interested in the time it takes to fetch the data after I've filled in the prompts. So quite a big number, but I'm going to skip over that one and look for any other big numbers in this column down here. Now I can see everything that it's doing here, and at some point it's going to go and actually fetch the data. And we can see when it hits Data Manager, fetching the data, it takes 1355 seconds. If I compare that to the output in my trace files from the application, I see 1364. The vast majority, the vast bulk of the time is happening here. This is my culprit. It transpired that certain older data had been moved to nearline storage for this report, and then this report was bringing back data from NLS. So focus could now switch to NLS and why we're taking so long to initialize. Subsequent refreshes, in fact, used the BW cache. So not only did it not hit the nearline storage, it didn't even record a data manager event.